Ladies and gentlemen, let me open a joint public hearing, City Council of City of Pearland and the Planning and Zoning Commission, City of Pearland, for Monday, October the 15th, year 2018. We have, for introductions to the agenda, I'll be using the same paperwork and agenda that you have if you picked up one. Purpose of the hearing tonight is we have tonight introducing our council and the planning commission. Our city council is here except for Derek Reed and Andrea Hernandez, but we have shining faces otherwise. I'll ask the chairman of the planning commission to, would you log in your personnel?
We have one member one member absent, and that's Thomas Duncan. All other members are present.
Okay. Moving in our agenda, we'll have staff to give us some constructive guidance on how we conduct our meeting and the process, and then we'll go into the purpose of the hearing after he gets through with our introduction.
Yes, sir. We have one item on the agenda for the joint public hearing. It's the Center at Pearland Parkway rezoning from R2 to planned development. There was one item pulled from the agenda at the request of the applicant. It was property out on Old Chocolate Bayou, rezoning from general business to R1. Each item has a public hearing conducted as follows. There will be a call to order, staff report, applicant presentation, and then public comments in either support or opposition to. Please come forward to the mic, state your name and address for the record, be brief and to the point within a 3-minute time frame, and complete a speaker's card and give it to the recording secretary, waving the purple sheet right there. Then council, commission, and staff will have discussion, and there will be an adjournment. After the public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission will hold their regular meeting to vote on a recommendation. Speaking at the P&Z is at P&Z's discretion. The council meeting dates for the first and second considerations of this item will be November 12th and November 26th. That completes your, good. Let's move on our agenda purpose of the meeting. I ask the chairman of the planning commission to read into the record the purpose of the hearing tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a zone change application number zone 18-00019, a request of Stream Realty applicant represented by Andrew Alamond of Windrose Land Services on behalf of SR Pearland owner for approval of a change in zoning classification from single family residential R2 to planned development PD zoning district on approximately 8.495 acres of land. General location is north of Pearland Parkway across from Shallow Creek Drive.
Okay. That information is record. Let's move to application information case summary, staff report.
Yes, sir. As stated, this is a request to go from R2 to planned development. It is for commercial development. We recently rezoned a large chunk of property in April while the applicant and consultants and owners and all those people were doing their planning and site development. They understood that they needed a little additional land on one of the out parcels. So this request is to add about 10 foot to the east side of one of those out parcels. It adds about 2,500 square foot to the whole planned development phase. There was one call requesting more information. Before you is the code conformance table. The only real thing to jump out is the platting. And of course, this will require a new master plat and then amendments to the previously approved plats. Staff recommends approval of the R2 to planned development zone change as it meets the criteria for approval. And this is the exhibit showing the future land plan of retail offices and services for the whole corridor. And then this shows the existing zoning out there. It's difficult to tell the portion that's being rezoned simply due to the width of the blue line across the property. But it maintains all of the previous recommendations from April when this was approved last time. And that completes staff's report.
Good, I appreciate that. Moving to item B on our under application information case summary portion. Is the applicant here tonight? Yes, please come up to the podium. You will give us your name, address.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council and Commission. My name is Andrew Allemond. I'm here representing Stream Realty. You may recall we just came to y'all and just had this next phase of the PD approved. The reason we're having to come back and ask for 9 more feet is that the original tenant that we had for that out parcel, it fell through because the deal took so long to get done. So now we have a new tenant in, Taco Cabana, interested in that space, and they need an additional 9 feet. So this zoning will allow us to buffer out the zoning that we got approved just recently to accomplish the 9 feet that we need and get Taco Cabana in there. And my name is Andrew Allemond. I don't know if I said that or not. I'm at 11111 Richmond Avenue, Suite 150 in Houston, Texas, 77082.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And in the process, if we need to question you, we'll holler at you.
Yes, sir.
We don't have anything to throw at you because it may damage the paint. Moving in our agenda to item number C, staff wrap-up comments.
No additional.
Okay. Let's move to item number 3 on our agenda. Persons wishing to speak for or against this proposed request. And I'll ask Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Perez to handle that problem.
Mayor, I've not received any prior notice for this item, but if there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak either for or against this proposed amendment to the plan development, would you please come to the podium? Second time, if there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak either for or against this proposed plan development amendment, please come to the podium. Third and final time, anybody who would like to speak either for or against this proposed plan development amendment, please come to the podium. Looks like no one wants to talk about it, Mayor.
Okay, I appreciate that. Let's move to item 4 on our collective agendas, which gives an opportunity for the City Council, the Planning Commission, and staff to give any comments on this. And I'd like to start with Councilmember Carbone.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess the only comment is on the last page of the agenda, the tax certificate is not for this project. So I'm sure they're paid and we can check online, but just wanted to note that. But I don't have a problem with the amendment.
Okay, Councilmember Perez.
Thank you, Mayor. For the purposes of the record, I'd like to note that Windrose, who is the applicant's consultant on this, is a company that I do a lot of business with. They consult for me quite often. However, this client is not somebody that I've worked for. Just a couple of quick questions with respect to procedurally, staff. If this is going to require a replat of the previous plat that was done for the Hobby Lobby, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and
but I don't believe any of the lot boundaries for that lot are changing.
Okay, and that would just be an administrative plat, right?
Correct.
Not preliminary final.
I believe it would all be in-house,
Okay.
administrative.
Okay. With that, I don't have any objection to the change of this PD.
Okay. Councilmember Little.
No comment, Mayor.
Councilmember Moore.
I have no objection to this, Mayor.
All right. Councilmember Owens.
I just have one thing to, I guess, clarification. The entrance to this, is this going to be the same entrance that they use for Holly Lobby, so we won't be cutting Pearland Parkway again, right? Okay, no problem.
You getting an answer for that? Okay. Plan to Chris, Mr. Chairman? Oh, okay. Why don't you come on up to the podium here and
a city guy, so I understand, like, you're listening to the tape later, you wouldn't have an answer. Yes, sir, that's correct. The entrance is going to stay the same. The only part that's buffering out is on that northeasternmost out parcel. That's going to extend out 9 feet, but every other element is going to stay the same. Entrance and other thing.
You got the common road in front of it.
Yes, sir.
There. Okay. All right.
Moving in our agenda also to Planning Commission, Mr. Chairman.
Commission has no comments, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, sir. Staff have any wrap-up comments at this point?
No, sir.
Have not, okay. Let's move down to item 5, which will let me adjourn this standalone meeting at 6:40, I'm going to fudge and call it 6:45. And in a like manner, let me open at 6:46 a Planning and Zoning City Council, City Pearland City Council Planning and Zoning Commission for a joint special meeting. And called to order, and we, at this point, I will repeat our roll call of City Council. Would be our council with the exception of Councilmember Reed and Councilmember Hernandez. And I'll ask the Planning and Zoning Commission to also
Likewise,
report your attendance.
likewise, Mayor, all commissioners are present except Thomas Duncan.
Okay, that information in the record. Item number 4 is introduction of agenda and format of hearing. And I'll ask our staff to, Martin, to share that with us at this point.
Yes, sir. On for tonight's agenda, we have an assisted living facility on Province Village Drive. There were 2 other items that were scheduled to be on here, but they did not meet their notification requirements. One was on 2450 Main Street for an auto repair facility, and then the other was at 3426 South Main for a food sales coffee shop. Those are being rescheduled for next month. So each item, again, will have a public meeting with a call to order, staff report, applicant presentation. Comments are either in support or opposition to. Again, please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, be brief and to the point within a 3-minute time frame, and complete a speaker's card giving to the recording secretary. Then there will be council, commission, and staff discussion, followed by an adjournment. At the end, council will hold a vote to either approve with conditions, deny, or table the item after the discussion is complete. And that completes
Okay,
my discussion.
that information in the record. Let's proceed in our agenda to item number 4, which is introduction agenda format hearing, which you did, and joint public hearing number 1. Ask the chairman of the Planning Commission to read into the record the purpose of the hearing tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. This is conditional use permit application number CUP 18-00019. This is a request of Harrell Architects LP applicant, represented by Perry Harrell, on behalf of Office Grove Province GP LLC owner, represented by Jon Spears, for approval of a conditional use permit CUP to allow for an assisted living facility use located in the planned development PD zoning district on approximately 1.372 acres of land. This is east of 2920 Province Village Drive. Okay. That completes the report.
To complete that, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving to application information case summary, staff report.
Yes, sir. So the application is for an assisted living facility for a property located at east of 2920 Province Village Drive in PD Province Village Zone District. The future land use is medium density residential.
Okay.
The proposed use is in conformance with the following criteria.
Thank you.
Comprehensive plan, thoroughfare plan, unified development code, plating, and utilities. Staff recommends approval with conditions of the requested CUP for assisted living facility as it meets all of the following criteria for approval. The condition for approval for the proposed use will be the driveway radius and placement of driveway that will be amended to meet the engineering design criteria manual requirements. And also cross access has to be provided to adjacent commercial property. And the facade has to be 100% masonry. This is a site plan for the assisted living. This is the landscaping plan. And this one is the zoning and aerial map showing the location of the property. And the last one is the future land use map that shows future land use of medium density residential. And that completes the staff report.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Moving to applicant presentation, and I thought I saw you out there. So thank you for being here. And you know the rules, name and address and location.
Good evening. My name is Perry Harrell with Harrell Architects, 9575 Katy Freeway in Houston, Texas. Our client is developing 1.375 acres out of a 2.375 acre tract for a 30-bed assisted living facility comprised of some single bed and some double bed units with a total capacity of 30 residents.
Good. I think it sent the message, and I appreciate that. Moving in our agenda to item number 3, which persons wish to speak for or against the proposal. I'd like Mayor Pro Tem Perez to present this.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one speaker's card of a person who would like to speak on this item. So Mr. Curtis McNulty, if you'll please come. To the podium. Please state your name and address for the purpose of the record. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. I'll let you know when you have 30 seconds left.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Curtis McNulty. My address is 2817 Parkside Village Court.
Might tilt that mic up where we could all hear you. Thank you.
Better? Okay. My name is Curtis McNulty. The address is 2817 Parkside Village Court, Pearland, Texas, 77581. So the reason I'm up here today is to ask questions about the development of it, and if we even have a plan, if it's going to match the look and feel of the neighborhood, or if it's just going to be a commercial structure that's going to stand out, because it is a very small pocket of homes right there. So I guess the biggest question is the architectural requirements for the facade and the landscape plan to make it flow within the neighborhood. Is that something that can be answered?
It can't be
today?
dialogued with. You can't be dialogued with right now, but we can ask that question later.
Okay. Was there anything else? And then as far as, I guess with it being assisted living, the amount of emergency vehicles and times, I'm assuming assisted living will have emergency response called at some point or another. So with homes backing up to that area as far as emergency vehicles going through.
Mm-hmm. Good. There it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That complete that portion.
That was the only speaker card that I received, Mayor. But if there is anybody else in the audience that would like to speak either for or against this conditional use permit, is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak either for or against this conditional use permit? Third and final time, is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak either for or against this conditional use permit? That's it, Mayor.
Let's move on our agenda to item section B, which is Planning Commission. The City Council and the staff discuss this on an individual basis, starting with the Planning Commission, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mayor. Mary, do you have any comments?
I think it's probably a pretty good idea. It's not overly crowded, and it's close to Pearland Parkway. I don't think it's going to create much traffic of any kind. And assisted living, from what I gather, and what they're talking about, is people that need basically take care of themselves but need a little bit of help. It's not bedridden. I think that's the idea. And I think it's an excellent idea and a good place for it.
After review, I think this is something that doesn't seem to have any problems as far as I'm concerned.
Daryl?
Yeah, I'm fine with it also. I think it's a pretty decent area over there. I understand the gentleman's concerns about wanting the facade to match the neighborhood and stuff, and if they can remedy that, I don't see any problem with it.
Go ahead, Troy.
I agree with this project. I do agree with the citizens' request that they match the neighborhood's facade.
I'm okay with it also. I understand his concerns, and even with the emergency vehicles, but it's with only 33 beds, I think he said. I can't imagine that it would be so many emergency calls that it would be bothersome. So I think it's a good plan.
Likewise, I have no concern with the use. Mayor, that completes the commissioner's comments.
To complete your, let's then move to the City Council, and I'll start with Councilmember Owens.
Get my mic on here. I really don't have a problem with it at all. Mayor, you and I were sitting here when it was just a big field out there at one time, and was wondering if anything was ever going to be done. So the homes out there, I think, are very good. I live in Green Tea, and I use that road quite often, get on there, Parkway. And what we have a Montessori school going in between there and the ditch there, and where this is going to go. But it's only going to be 30 beds in the whole area out there on that. Yeah, I really don't see a problem in it. I think it's a good location for it myself. I really do.
Councilmember Moore.
What is 30 bed? Is that just 30 units, or this is one big open facility? Could somebody answer that?
Sure. It's they're beds by, it means individual bedrooms with a private bath. And some are sharing a bath, and some are private. Yep. It's also a one-story building too.
Okay.
Okay. Councilmember Little. Okay. Councilmember Little.
Yeah, what approximately will be the occupancy once you get full?
It's 30, one per bed.
Okay, 30 total. Okay, all right. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a good location.
Okay, Councilmember Perez.
Thank you, Mayor. With respect to the use, I don't have any issues with the use. I do have a couple of questions on the conditions that we've added onto here. A couple of questions for staff. The driveway requirements matching the EDCM, that would be a requirement regardless of this conditional use, correct?
Correct.
So from a practical purpose, there's really not a benefit for us adding that as part of the condition for the CUP, since they got to do it anyway, right?
Those would be requirements anyway. We just wanted to highlight them So that way, the site plan before you that was included within your applicant packet wasn't misunderstood to be something that we were approving.
No, and I appreciate that. I think, part of what we've done to change the CUP is try to disconnect the site plan from the use, so long as they're matching, developing in accordance with all our other criteria, and in this case, in accordance with what the provisions of the PD. There's really not a need for us adding those conditions. Same thing with the cross-access. That's a general requirement for anybody who plats in Pearland, correct?
Correct.
And with respect to the masonry, by requiring 100% masonry, how does that mitigate the use at all?
We were trying to address the feel of the neighborhood.
Is that
comment? So that's why we noticed that there is an elevated masonry presence within Province Village. So that's where we were trying to come up with a matching component.
Is it in the PD though? Are we asking them as a response to this use for them to provide greater provisions to this development than are already in the PD?
That was.
Right. This is part of the property is within the Province Village PD and is subject to all the requirement, including facade, which is masonry.
So the PD already requires them to have 100% masonry, correct?
Yeah, it has to be masonry.
So again, the condition on the CUP is not necessary since it's already in the PD, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I don't have problems with the use. It'd be my preference not to tie in a bunch of conditions onto the CUP that they already have to follow per other criteria. That's all my comment.
Okay. Councilmember Carbone?
Yep. Thank you, Mayor. Since the architect's here, would you like to address the comment that we heard in terms of trying to match the look and the feel of the neighborhood?
Be glad to. Currently, our plan is to make the front facade and some of the end pieces predominantly stone, and the rest of the building stucco, which is all masonry components.
All right, thank you. Yep, I don't have any further comments, Mayor.
That completes your comments. Let's move to item 3, which is have a staff wrap-up comments, if appropriate.
There's no additional comment, Mayor. Thank you.
No comments? Okay. And this procedure that we have, this morphs into a city council agenda item in which we will vote on it as a city council. So moving in our agenda, I'd like to ask Councilmember Little if he'd present this item on our agenda tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Consideration and possible action, Resolution R 2018-CUP 18-00019. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, we have a motion second on the floor.
Councilmember Little, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Moore?
No.
Councilmember Owens?
Aye.
Councilmember Carbone?
Aye.
Councilmember Perez?
Aye.
Motion passed 4-1.
That information in the record. Item 5 says that I can adjourn this process for this particular issue.